Good day everyone. Welcome to my channel, The Vedic Astrologer. My name is Rajat Kapoor. In my channel, I make videos on Vedic Astrology and the important transits, and I do that on a weekly as well as a monthly basis. One of the latest videos that I have made is about Jupiter's transit in the sign of Taurus, which is for the next 1 year happening on 1st of May, and how it will have an impact on all 12 ascendant and the moon signs. You will also see my video on April predictions for all 12 ascendant signs, and very recently I also made another video on 2024 prediction for all ascendant signs, and you can check out these videos on my channel as I continue to make more videos and keep the concepts really simple for you. In case you're new to my channel, please subscribe, hit the bell icon, share this video with your friends, and keep yourself up to date with all the upcoming transit videos and Vedic astrology videos. In case you wish to book a personalized consultation with me, you can check out the link to my website in the comment section in the process of reaching out to me. This video is about Mars or Mangal and its transit in the sign of Pisces. Mars is moving out from the sign of Aquarius, where it has been conjoined with Saturn for the last few days, and it is going to be moving in the sign of Pisces on 23rd of April. And Mars or Mangal would stay in the sign of Pisces till 1st of June. We call Mars Mangal. In fact, I prefer using the name Mangal because it means auspiciousness. Mars is the natural ruler of the sign of Aries, which is the first house of the zodiac belt, and the natural ruler of Scorpio, which is the 8th sign of the zodiac belt. So Mars plays a very important role in our life in terms of our overall self, our vitality, immunity. This is where the Agni or fire sits, and Mars is all about fire. It is a fiery planet. It represents courage. It is the commander in chief. It represents vitality, immunity. Mars as a planet has the highest amount of energy. So anything that we do in our day-to-day lives which require effort, that requires energy and enthusiasm, this is where Mars or Mangal plays a very important role. It is the natural ruler of the 8th house of the sign of Scorpio. It rules transformation, longevity. Mars, from an element perspective, rules two signs. One is fire, which is Aries, and that is pure fire, and the other is water element, which is Scorpio. And Scorpio's water element is deep dark water. So there's a huge contrast in terms of these elements as far as the sign is concerned. Mars's transit usually lasts for about 40 to 45 days unless it goes retrograde. Let's try and understand some key important dates for this transit before I talk about how this transit is going to have an impact on all 12 ascendant signs. On 23rd of April, Mars enters Pisces. It leaves Aquarius, and it is one step away from entering its own sign of Aries. So it is in its joyful space point in time, and considering Pisces, which is ruled by Jupiter, both Jupiter and Mars share a friendly relationship. Therefore, it is in its friend's house. It's in a comfortable space. From 23rd of April till 1st of May, both Mars and Jupiter are involved in a Parivartana yoga, which will only last for a week. But this is again a powerful yoga that is there in place. So that 1 week is great for any spiritual pursuits or any sort of manifestation which involves spiritual practices such as yoga, meditation. So if you do that, you could reap some very good benefits from this yoga. Mars during this transit is going to go through two different nakshatras. From 27th of April till 14th of May, it will be transiting in Uttara Bhadrapad nakshatra. Uttara Bhadrapad nakshatra is ruled by Saturn, and during this time, wherever the sign of Libra falls in your chart, is likely to demonstrate positive results. This is where Saturn gets exalted. And on 14th of May, it will enter Revati nakshatra, which is the 27th nakshatra of the zodiac belt, and it will stay in this nakshatra till 1st of June. This nakshatra is ruled by Mercury, and during this time, wherever the sign of Virgo falls in your chart, is likely to demonstrate some sort of positive results as far as energy and enthusiasm is concerned. During this nakshatra based transit, Mars is focusing and activating the 9th cycle, which is about dharma, fortune, higher spiritual wisdom, and higher knowledge. It also represents travel and long journeys. So it is time for us to put our energy and enthusiasm in our dharma, in traveling and ensuring that we get higher wisdom, and that only happens if we continue to learn and put all our energy and enthusiasm in learning. This is the natural first house lord and the natural 8th house lord making a transit in the natural 12th house of the zodiac belt. 12th house represents your sleep, your bed comforts, your ability to give others. From a body perspective, 12th house represents feet. So in case you love to run, Mars is there in the 12th house. It is energy that is there in the natural sign of feet. Excellent time to do any kind of workout where your legs are involved, where your feet are involved. This is also a time where you have to ensure from a general remedy perspective to keep your feet neat and clean, and this is more from a hygiene perspective as well. Now this is the first lord making a transit in the 12th house, which is the house of higher self-consciousness. It plays a very important role in our overall self-awareness. So it is an optimum time for you to ensure that you put your energies and enthusiasm in terms of understanding your key strengths and what are those areas that you'd like to improve, and how you can be more aware of your inner strengths and how you can build on your strengths in order to achieve some of the pursuits that you have. 12th house also represents losses or expenditure. So this is not a good time to have any kind of unnecessary expenditure, and this is something you have to be mindful of, because during this transit Mars will be conjoined Rahu and also a retrograde Mercury. More on a positive side, Mars is the one that has the most strength during this time because it's in its friendly sign. Mercury on the same side is debilitated as well as retrograde. Both Rahu and Mars will also be conjoined in the next few days, which is a very complex conjunction. And this is where one has to be very, very mindful to avoid any unnecessary expenditure, any extravagance, any indulgence, and some of these things. So you have to be extremely careful of this time. On the same side, for spiritual pursuits, for spiritual goals, meditation, yoga, some of these practices, Ayurveda, it is an excellent time to learn. It is a great time to uplift yourself spiritually. Practice 5 minutes of physical stillness and try to do that every day. Start with few seconds and gradually build on it. You will do wonders as far as meditation is concerned. This is also the natural 8th house lord, the lord of Scorpio, making a transit in the natural 12th house, which is causing a Viparita Yoga in transit. So the transformation is coming in your higher self-consciousness. Firstly, we need to understand what is the kind of time period that you're going through, the dasha, antardasha, and then you need to look at Mars's transit. In a Viparita Yoga, the circumstances become challenging. However, eventually the native is able to rise and overcome all odds. Since there's a natural complex conjunction in the sign of Pisces, at a general sense, we all need to watch our sleep over the next couple of months. This needs to be a priority for most people. Anything that we do with our feet, whether it is walking a lot, going for a run, exercising, and at the same time watching our sleep. So these are the two things which I could say is a general common remedy that is applicable for everyone. Pisces as a sign really helps Mars to calm down, because this is where fire and water are coming together. Mars is fire, Pisces is water, and what happens when fire and water comes together? It creates smoke. So this is also one of the reasons that we need to avoid any kind of overindulgence and extravagance, and I hope you get my point. Now, since a complex conjunction is happening in the sign of Pisces, which is lorded by Jupiter, any remedy that will come during this time to avoid any ill effects of Mars-Rahu conjunction or Mars-Mercury conjunction or a 3-planet conjunction that is happening in the sign of Pisces, that remedy comes from Jupiter by chanting mantras related to Jupiter, by worshipping Brihaspati or Guru, or by having a mentor or someone that you could look up to, or striving towards higher wisdom and higher knowledge. That should be the objective over the next 45 days. During this transit, Mars will aspect 3 different signs. So Mars has 2 special aspects, the 4th aspect and the 8th aspect from itself, and the natural 7th aspect which most grahas have. However, the 7th aspect is only a 50% aspect, which will be on the sign of Virgo. I'm not going to stress a lot on this aspect, but we need to understand what the 4th and the 8th aspect is. Mars's 4th aspect is all about protection and what is being protected. What is our focus area as far as protection is concerned? What is that we care for during this time? So that aspect is happening on the sign of Gemini, which is the natural 3rd house of the Kalpurusha Kundali that represents communication, change, younger siblings, and any kind of effort that we put. So one needs to protect their communication, relationship with younger siblings if you have, and also be change ready, and at the same time be very well aware of the kind of efforts that you can put and the potential that you have. Mars's 8th aspect is going to be on the sign of Libra. Now the 8th aspect means how long you will be protected and where this protection is coming from. So this protection is clearly coming from a partner or a spouse, because this is what the Libra sign represents, or those people who are opposite to you. In case you're not married and you don't have a partner, this protection is also coming from law and order, and also by a sense of balance. So this is the key message as far as Mars's aspect is concerned, and this is something which you need to understand. Another common remedy to avoid any ill effects of the conjunction that is happening in the sign of Pisces, because this is where Mars and Rahu are involved, you should pray to Hanuman, or you should pray to Lord Shiva during this time for any kind of relief. I might make another video talking about key global events during this time, but just to share a couple of things very quickly, because from a regional perspective, the Middle East region might be the focus of the hour, because this conjunction happened about 18 years ago in 2005. Okay, so I suspect and anticipate that in my previous video on Saturn Mars conjunction, I did predict that there could be a withdrawal of Israeli forces in Gaza, and that is something which you might see over the next couple of months, because even in 2005, it was a similar situation, and this is where the troops were there and there was a decision to withdraw. So that could happen, and I hope it brings a sense of peace and stability in the region. The other prediction that I'd like to make is that based on this transit, over the next 40 to 45 or 60 days, there could be a loss of key leader within the Middle East region, which involves several countries. So we must watch this space, and I hope this should not have a severe impact as far as regional stability is concerned. So this is something which we must watch out for. So who's going to have the maximum impact of this transit? In case you're running through a dasha, antardasha, pretantardasha, where Mars or Mangal is playing a role, where Jupiter is playing a role, Rahu, Mercury, Ketu, even Venus is playing a role, where Saturn is also playing a role, you are likely to be impacted by this transit. Therefore, I could say that this transit is likely to have an impact on a lot of people. And the sign of Pisces has anyway experienced the first solar eclipse of the year. So from that aspect as well, I understand and believe wherever the sign of Pisces falls in your chart needs attention over the next 60 days. And the remedy is Jupiter. Now let's try and understand how this transit is going to have an impact on all 12 ascendant signs or the moon signs. Primarily, I would want you to understand this transit and only focus on your ascendant sign. In case you wish to understand this transit at a mental level, then only look at the moon sign. Otherwise, 99%, please look at your ascendant sign in order to read this transit, because I have received a lot of questions in my recent videos, and this is something I'd like to clarify. So let's start with Aries ascendants. For Aries ascendants, Mars is the ruler of the first house and the 8th house, and this Mars is making a transit in your 12th house in the sign of Pisces, your first lord, the ruler of yourself, your overall body, vitality, your physique, your mental as well as physical health, physical well-being. This is where the knowledge sits, this is where your brain sits. Therefore, Mars becomes a Lagna lord for you, and it also rules the 8th house of Ayush or longevity, sudden ups and downs, changes in life, places that are far off or across the seas. 8th house represents secret or hidden things as well. Therefore, Mars plays a very important role for Aries ascendants. It has been in transit in your 11th house. There's been a lot of energy that is happening, that is going on, that has been going on in your 11th house, and now Mars is moving in the 12th house. So firstly, it is your 8th lord moving in the 12th house, causing a Viparita Yoga in transit. Circumstances could definitely be challenging during this time. It is not the most easy energies. So next 45 to 60 days, you have to take care of your health primarily. You have to take care of unnecessary change and expenditure. However, on a spiritual side, this could be an excellent time for you to achieve your spiritual goals. Any form of meditation or yoga could be highly beneficial to you during this time. The mantras that you need to chant should be related to Jupiter, but then you need to also understand what is the natal state of your 5th house in the chart and the kind of dasha antardasha that you're running through. This could be an excellent time in order to make yourself aware in order to increase your self-awareness. Spend some time with yourself, have some reflections, make a note of your strengths, opportunity areas, and try to build on your strengths to be a better person. That should be the objective for you. This is your first house lord making a transit in the 12th house of losses. So your self-esteem and self-confidence will be put at test, and this is where you will try and come out with flying colors. Remember that this is only about 45 days time, and after that this Mars will enter your ascendant. It will give you a lot of energy and firepower within your ascendant as well. So this time shall pass. This is mostly a spiritual transit for you and less of a materialistic transit. However, at the same time, you need to watch out your expenses. Try to save money during this time. Try to avoid any major decisions that you were to take over the next 40-45 days. In case your dasha is strong, that is supportive, you don't need to worry about it. You can still take decisions. In case Mars is placed very well in your chart, it holds strength or good yogas, then you shouldn't be worried much about this transit. Now Mars, by an aspect perspective, is going to be aspecting your 3rd house, your 6th house, and the 7th house during this time. So 3rd house, that is the house which needs to be protected during this time. So you need to really protect your communication. Be very conscious of what you say and how you deal with people. At the same time, be change ready. You need to protect your efforts because your self-esteem and self-confidence is going to be put at test. You shouldn't shy away from putting efforts. You might have to put 3 times more efforts in order to get your task or work done during this time. And this is something which you should continue doing. Now this protection is coming from your spouse or your partner or those people who are opposite to you. These people could also be at your workplace. This could be someone who you are in relationship. This could be a relationship with higher authorities, and make sure that you build credible relationships during this time, because the more humility you practice during this time, if you keep your ego aside and you have your true self presented to others, you will be benefited from this transit in order to build some credible relationships, and your friends, family, spouse, or those people who you work with could play a very important role in terms of helping you transition through this change that is coming ahead. Overall, I would say it is a mixed transit for you, but then you need to watch out for Mars's transit in the sign of Aries, which will be next. Let's now talk about Taurus ascendants. For Taurus ascendants, Mars becomes the ruler of the 7th house and the ruler of the 12th house. Though from a nature perspective, it is more of a neutral planet for Taurus ascendants, considering the kind of relationship it shares with Venus, which is your Lagna Lord. However, for Taurus, Mars plays a very important role in marriage and marital harmony and similar relationships. So your overall relationship with other people, this is where Mars plays a very important role, and this Mars is making a transit in your 11th house. This is the ruler of 7th house, which is all about those people who are opposite to you. We also see business from the 7th house, any kind of partnership, marriage, relationship, a sense of harmony. We also see people outside of your homeland or other countries from the 7th house besides the 12th house. So Mars has dual lordship here. It also rules 12th house of foreigners. It also rules 7th house. This plays a very important role in the relationship that you have with people from other cultures, other nationalities, or if you work in a multinational setup, this could also support you in order to build certain relationships and make great use of those relationships, because from a transit perspective, it is going to support you during this time. Now, the 11th house is all about gains, your wider social network, your friends, and things that you do in order to make yourself have a very comfortable life or a comfortable living. From a transit perspective, your 7th lord moving in the 11th house, there are gains related to spouse or those who are in a relationship. So your partner is likely to gain from this transit. One of the key message for you is that you must listen to your partner. Your focus will be a lot in terms of relationship building with those people who are opposite to you. You need to come out of your shell and be there in the open and try to build credible and meaningful relationships during this time. Your 12th lord, which is the lord of expenditure, losses, your higher self-consciousness, is making a transit in the 11th house of gains. So your losses will be protected during this time because it is 12th from this house. 11th house is 12th from this house. So this is the time for you to make gains and avoid any kind of expenditure or any losses during this time. I always say that any planet that makes a transit in the 11th house and particularly if it is a natural malefic, it is a good transit. Now, from the perspective of if you're in a business or a partnership, sole proprietorship, you are likely to have certain recognition or gain during this time, particularly if your dasha antardasha is supportive. For those people who are looking forward to getting married or settling down, this could be a potentially favorable time. Also, for higher educational pursuits, this could be an excellent time for you to take some key decisions that could help you study further, that could help you get more education, and this education will be useful for your workplace pursuits. During this transit, Mars is going to aspect your second house of speech, wealth, family. This is what needs to be protected. You need to be very careful in terms of what you say and who you say, and particularly in terms of your tone of voice. Try to consciously be soft-spoken and be respectful to others. Also take care of your family. This is what needs to be protected, and at the same time your wealth as well. Try to accumulate, save, and this could be a potentially favorable time to make some key investment related decisions, and these investments could be for a longer term. Mars is going to aspect your 5th house by its 7th aspect, which is more of a 50% aspect. But this is also a potentially favorable time to put your energy and enthusiasm in your children if you have any, or in creative pursuits. By its 8th aspect, Mars will be aspecting your 6th house, and the protection of your family, your speech and wealth is going to come from daily routines. So the more busy you are in terms of your day-to-day activities, the better it will be for you from wealth perspective. This time could also see you getting a new job or making a change. So if you were trying to change your job, this could be a potentially favorable time for you to get something that you desire during this time. And that could be a factor which brings a kind of mental peace or reduces your stress levels during this time. As a remedy, something that you need to do is go out there, exercise, go for a run or go for a walk, and try to stay as active as you can in your daily routine. Overall, I would say it is a good transit, positive transit, and I wish you the very best. Let's now talk about Gemini ascendants. For Gemini ascendants, Mars is a potent malefic planet because it rules your 6th house and the 11th house. So it rules two houses that represents enemies. 6th house is enemies, it represents debts or any kind of loans, and also diseases. More from a well-being point of view, it represents your daily routine or things that you do on a day-to-day basis. 11th house, though it is also the house of gains, it is also the house of material comforts, rewards and recognition, but at the same time it is 6th from your 6th house, so it represents bigger enemies in life that are multiple in nature, that could be very challenging as well. On contrary, this Mars is making a transit in your 10th house in the sign of Pisces, in the house of career, profession, your action in the society, things that you do on a day-to-day basis in order to survive and sustain yourself in the world. In spite of being a potent malefic, for Gemini ascendants, Mars gains directional strength in the 10th house. It is Digbali. Therefore, there are blessings of the Devata during this time. Without a doubt, whenever Mars transits for most of the ascendants in the 10th house, it is a very favorable transit. Your Lagna Lord is also moving in the 10th house. It is retrograde as well as debilitated. There is Mars there, there is Rahu there. Mars has the greatest say during this time and during this transit. So there could be certain complications as far as workplace is concerned, but in case you're running through a favorable dasha, antardasha, pratantardasha, you could see yourself getting something bigger and better over the next 45 to 50 days. And if you have been looking for a change in the job or new opportunities, this could be a potentially favorable time. If you've been thinking of going on your own, or if you've been thinking of making any major or significant decisions as far as your workplace is concerned, this could be a potentially favorable time, but you need to take a very calculative as well as a logical decision, because this is what Mars demands. So think through before coming to a conclusion or deciding, but this could be a potentially favorable time in terms of making such decisions. Your 6th Lord, we also see job from the 6th house and also intelligence, is making a transit in the 10th house. So from a career perspective, it looks quite positive. It is also your 11th Lord, which is Lord of gains, and that is moving in the 10th house. It is going to further transit in the 11th house, which will be a subsequent transit. Remember, this kind of opportunity only comes in about a year and a half when Mars makes a transit in your 10th house. So your workplace demands a lot of energy, enthusiasm. You might also need to navigate workplace politics situation, or relationship with your superiors, with your leaders. So that could be put at test. So you need to leverage your energy and enthusiasm in terms of navigating these relationships and building trust with your leaders in order to make some fruitful decisions, and this could be a potentially favorable time to get some favors from your leaders or any kind of reward and recognition from your leaders, considering if your dasha antardasha is supportive during this time. Mars by its fourth aspect is going to be aspecting your ascendant, and that needs protection. Yourself, your body, your vitality needs protection during this time. What do you do to protect yourself? You exercise, you work out, you eat right. Simple. Every day you need to work out, go to the gym, or at least 4 to 5 times in a week. Stay as active as you can. Try to be hydrated, drink plenty of water, because there is an aspect which is fiery aspect on your ascendant. This is what needs to be protected. Now this protection is coming from the 8th aspect of Mars. Before I talk about 8th aspect, Mars is going to aspect your 4th house by its 7th aspect. So it demands certain amount of comfort in your life. So it demands you to step out of your comfort zone and also focus a lot in terms of your workplace environment and also the environment at home that would need some attention. Mars is aspecting your 5th house by its 8th aspect. So where this protection is coming from, this protection primarily is coming from your future decisions. Your decisions in the future would really determine how long you are being protected, and your children might play a very important role in order to do that. People with authority might play an important role. You might see yourself in an authoritative position during this time. So please keep your ego aside if you are in an authoritative position. Spend time in terms of building trust with other people. Overall, I say it's a blessed and a positive transit, and I wish you the very best. Let's now talk about Cancer ascendants. For Cancer ascendants, Mars is an important planet because it is a Yoga Karaka planet. Being the ruler of Scorpio as well as Aries, Mars rules your 5th house and your 10th house. One is a very important trinal house, and 5th lord, in my opinion, is one of the most important planet for any ascendant because it rules progress, it rules future, and even astrology is all about past, present and future. So from a futuristic point of view, Mars plays a very important role here. It also rules children, because this is also something we see from future. It rules progress and success, because this is where the king sits. 5th house holds an authoritative position in a person's life. Mars is also the ruler of 10th house. This is where the sign of Aries falls in your chart. It is the ruler of karma. It is the ruler of your actions in the society, your workplace, any job that you do, business that you do, or things that you do in order to survive and sustain yourself and grow in this world. Your overall purpose, that is ruled by Mars. This Mars for you is making a transit in the 9th house, 9th house of dharma, fortune, long distance travel, father or father figure, teacher, higher wisdom and higher knowledge. We also see further education from the 9th house, but this education is only restricted to master's level. We do not really see doctorate or levels above master's education from the 9th house. You must understand firstly that Mars is making a yoga in this transit, which is a dharma karma yoga. Your 10th lord is making a transit in the 9th house. For the first 1 week of this transit, both Jupiter and Mars are involved in a dharma karma parivartan yoga, which is very powerful. So any decisions that you take with regards to your workplace, with regards to your future, your fortune is pretty much supportive during this time. From 23rd of June till 1st of May, this yoga is pretty much active. So if you were to apply for jobs, if you were to start something new, if you were to make some key decisions, this is the right time because Bhagya is supportive. From a Purva Punya perspective, this transit only comes once in about a year and a half. So this is the time where you need to make the most of it. This is the 5th house lord making a transit in the 9th house. The lord of future, progress, that who rules children, is making a transit in the house of higher learning, higher wisdom, Bhagyasthan. Your fortune is pretty much supportive during this time. You need to also protect your dharma. You need to put all your energy and enthusiasm in dharmic activities in terms of following any kind of lineage or a path, or getting some blessings from your guru, taking some spiritual journeys or retreats. So this could be potentially favorable for you, using mantras to protect yourself and to get help in some of your daily challenges during this time. Mars will be aspecting your 12th house, the sign of Gemini, during this time. So the protection, what needs to be protected is your sleep, your higher self-consciousness. So watch your sleep, work on it, and at the same time take care of your expenditure. So that needs to be protected. Your money, your wealth needs to be protected during this time. Do not make any key decisions. Try to save money during this time. Mars will be aspecting your third house by its seventh aspect. Any form of Guru Diksha or any form of teachings of your Guru or your mentor are going to be beneficial during this time. So get some blessings, get a key message, and try to apply that in your life for your own benefit. Mars is also going to be aspecting your fourth house by its eighth aspect. Your protection is going to be coming from your mother or your comfort space, things that make you feel happy or content. This is an optimum time to put your energies in your hobbies and interests and what you were to do for your own benefit and how you can feel more better. It's a well-being transit for you. Take journeys, and these journeys could be fruitful for you. It's quite a progressive transit, and I wish you the very best. Let's now talk about Leo ascendants. For Leo ascendants, Mars becomes a Yoga Karaka planet because it rules one of the Kendra house and one of the trinal house for you. Mars is the ruler of the fourth house. This is where the sign of Scorpio falls, and Mars is the ruler of the ninth house. The fourth house of your comfort, your homeland, where you feel most protected, your mother, your overall comfort space, which keeps you happy, which keeps you content, and also the ruler of the ninth house of father, religion, dharma, fortune. This is the Bhagya Sthan, and Mars becomes your Bhagyesha, therefore a very important planet for you. This house also represents long distance travel, long distance journeys, and also higher knowledge and higher wisdom. This is what this house represents. Therefore, Mars plays a very important role for Leo ascendants. This Mars has been making a transit in your seventh house and its Maran Karaka position. Finally, it is getting out of Maran Karaka position and it will be entering the eighth house of transformation, Ayush, longevity. We see sudden ups and downs, sudden changes from the eighth house. So from a transit perspective, this is the time for change. This is the time for sudden shift or sudden decisions, and mostly these decisions would be supportive for you because the Lord of the sign has been making a transit in the ninth house and will be making a transit soon in the 10th house. So that is a great supporting factor for Leo ascendants during this time. So you need to look up to Jupiter for any remedy related to Mars. Remember one thing, Mars is the natural ruler of the 8th house. 8th house plays a very important role in marital harmony and relationship because it is second from the 7th house. This is what we consume. This is what we like to protect. Mars is Mangal, and this house is also called Mangalya Bhava. So from a point of view of relationship, this could be an optimum time for you to solve your relationship issues, mend certain ties, and focus a lot in terms of protecting those people who are close to you, and try to resolve any kind of conflicts and disputes in a very healthy and a conclusive manner. Try to listen to those people, try to listen to your partner, learn from them, and this is going to be extremely helpful for you during this time. This is your 4th lord making a transit in the 8th house, and also your 9th lord. Anything that you study that has some hidden message or meaning, for example, Jyotish, astrology, or any related sciences which involves a lot of research, you will be able to pick it up in a really fast manner because your energy will be a lot in these subjects. So try to do that. This will also give you a lot of energy and a mental balance and a kind of peace of mind in order to take these pursuits. So in case you have an interest, this is an extremely favorable time to learn something new that is of hidden nature, that is very mysterious. You will pick it up very fast. Be prepared for change and also try to protect your dharma or your fortune during this time. You might need to get some advice from your mentor or your guru during this time, or someone that you look up to. This could be extremely beneficial and helpful for you. Mars by its 4th aspect is going to be aspecting your 11th house. What needs to be protected is your gains, your relationship with your friends or your wider circle. So this is something which you need to be careful of. Try to avoid venting out your emotions on social media. You can also come across a situation of being bullied on media by your friends or your known people or by your network. Try to avoid any kind of confrontations, any kind of judgmental situations, any kind of situations wherein you have to make a judgment. Try to avoid that. Try to stay low key and calm and try to ignore some of these situations for your own benefit. Mars is also going to be aspecting by its 7th aspect to your 2nd house. So this is a 50% aspect, but then again at the same time there will be a lot of energy and enthusiasm in order to create a secondary source of income. So this is something you can also think through during this time. Mars's 8th aspect is going to be on the 3rd house. So the protection is coming from your communication. So if you watch your communication, if you time your communication accordingly, if you think before you speak, think before you write. Particularly, you are likely to avoid any kind of complex situation which will bring stress in your life, which is going to make things difficult for you, for your overall well-being. Think before you speak, think before you write. This is the only remedy I could suggest you. Take control of your emotions. Do not get into a reactive state. Overall, I say it's a mixed transit and I wish you the very best. Let's now talk about Virgo ascendants. For Virgo ascendants, Mars becomes the ruler of the 3rd house and the ruler of the 8th house. So it's a potent malefic as far as Virgo ascendants are concerned, because it rules 2 complex or difficult houses in a general sense based on the 12 houses in the zodiac belt. It rules 3rd house of efforts. 3rd house also represents growth, because if we put efforts, we grow in life. It is an upachaya bhava. 3, 6, 10 and 11 are the houses of growth, are the houses of opportunities. It also rules communication. It rules any kind of change in life, and change initially is always difficult. It also rules younger siblings for Virgo ascendants. Mars is also the ruler of the 8th house of sudden ups and downs, changes, transformation. So for any kind of unpleasant change, Mars plays a role for Virgo ascendants. It is also the ruler of longevity, the ruler of places that are far across the sea. Those people who are from a different culture, who speak different kind of language, we also see from the 8th house. This Mars is making a transit in your 7th house of marriage, partnership. 7th house primarily is all about those people who are opposite to you. It is the house of balance, how you strike a balance between yourself and the outer world, how you portray yourself towards the outer world. This is something which we see from the 7th house, and Mars is considered Maran Karak in the 7th house. So from that perspective, it could definitely be a bit of a complex transit, because Mars is losing its significance. So as a remedy, what you need to do is you would need to put extra efforts in things associated to Mars. Mars is the significator of energy. You will feel low on energy, and you need to take some conscious steps in order to ensure that you're energized all throughout the time, because Mars will continue to aspect your ascendant. There are 2 other planets here. There is your Lagna lord Mercury and also Rahu. So one of the things that you have to consciously do is to stay hydrated all the time. Have at least 4 to 6 liters of water every day. This is a common remedy that I'd like to advise to all Virgo ascendants during this time. You also need to take some conscious efforts in order to step out of your seat, get up, go for a walk, exercise, eat right. The more active you are in terms of any form of exercise is going to help you during this time, because it will protect the significations of Mars during this time, and it will help the next 45 days to pass very quickly. Your 3rd house lord is making a transit in the 7th house. Mars is also the 8th house lord. If you are married, your relationship needs focus during this time. You need to have a sense of communication with your partner. Sit down with your partner, have a discussion. Your relationship with the outer world also needs focus, because you can be in a situation wherein you try to move into your shell and not be open about things. You could be naturally introvert as well. This is fine. This could be an excellent time for any kind of spiritual pursuits or any kind of reflection related activities or introspective activities. So if you sit down, spend time with your own self, reflect, introspect, pen down your goals or those kind of changes you would like to bring in your life, this could be a potentially favorable time. In case you have a partner, you're married or you're in a relationship, look up to your partner, because he or she is going to play a very important role in supporting you during this time, in helping you transition over the next 40-45 days and cope up with this kind of change that is there. Mars by its 4th aspect is going to be aspecting your 10th house. Your work needs to be protected. Any kind of work that you do, whether it's a job or a business, or if you're a consultant or a freelancer, or if you're on your own, that needs to be protected. That is very clear as far as the message is concerned. Mars will aspect your ascendant by its 7th aspect, which is a mere 50% aspect, but there is a lot of Agni that is going in your ascendant, and there seems to be Mercury as well as Rahu which continue to aspect your ascendant. So there is support and it's a bit of a complex aspect. So this is where you need to look up to Mercury, that is your Lagna Lord, in order to enhance your communication and avoid staying in the shell. And Rahu's aspect is going to expand this communication further. This Mars by its 8th aspect will be aspecting your 2nd house. So your family is going to play a very important role in ensuring that your work is protected. Your wealth or income is going to play a very important role, that your work is protected. I don't expect things to get worse, but these 40 to 45 days could bring in some workplace politics kind of a situation that you might need to navigate during this time. If you're looking forward to an increment or a rise or an appraisal, the next 50 to 60 days could be quite positive as far as decision making is concerned. So watch this space for more. Overall, I say it's a mixed transit, and I wish you the very best. Now let's talk about Libra ascendants. For Libra ascendant, Mars becomes the ruler of the 2nd house and the ruler of the 7th house. For Libra, Mars or Mangal rules family, those people who you would like to protect, your speech, your income and accumulated wealth. Mars also rules the 7th house of those people who are opposite to you, primarily how you deal with the outer world, your outer world of people, events and things. This is also the house of marriage, relationship, harmony, and we also see business and any kind of partnership from the 7th house. Therefore, Mars plays a very important role when it comes to income and also relationships for Libra ascendants. Some astrological school of thoughts have also considered Mars to be Maraka for Libra ascendants. I'm not going to stress a lot on that aspect because that whole concept is very misunderstood. Mars is an important planet. It is more of a neutral planet for Libra ascendants as far as its significations and the lordship and the kind of relationship with Venus is concerned. This Mars is making a transit in your 6th house, 6th house of daily efforts, routines. We see any kind of loans or debts that you take, or any kind of diseases, your health and physical well-being, things that you do on a day-to-day basis. Besides things on a day-to-day basis, we also see job from the 6th house. We also see intelligence from the 6th house. This is one of the Upachaya Bhavas. We see growth and free will from the 6th house, since it is also the house of competition. And from a natural sense, Mars making a transit in the 3rd house, 6th house, 10th house and 11th house is always good. It's a natural malefic. It is in the house of growth. It is in the house of daily routines. What you need to bring in daily routine is a lot of efforts, a lot of energy, enthusiasm and things related to Mars. As a remedy, what you can do is work in your kitchen every day. Even if you spend 5 minutes in doing something, cooking, chopping, or any work that you do in the kitchen is going to be helpful for you during this time. You also need to declutter your surroundings, particularly things in your house and also at your workplace. So make sure that you do it as a remedy, and this is going to be helpful for you to make any kind of progress or support in any kind of decisions that have been pending for a while. Your relationship is going to be put at test during this time, so you need to make sure that the communication is pretty much consistent as far as your relationship matters are concerned, and you might need to adapt yourself. You might need to keep your ego aside and leverage your communication, and do not get into a state of your shell. Do not get into a state of silence, because that could be detrimental towards your relationship. You need to speak up, share your views, and most importantly, listen to the other person, those people who are opposite to you. Make sure you are a good listener during this time. Mars by its 4th aspect is going to be aspecting your 9th house, which is the house of fortune, dharma, travel, higher learning. So your higher learning needs protection. It is an excellent time to learn something new. Try to upskill yourself and try to be the protector of your dharma, your lineage, and the relationship that you have with your guru or your mentor. Mars is going to be aspecting your 12th house by its 7th aspect. Watch your sleep. This is something which you need to be careful of during this time. And its 8th aspect is going to be at your ascendant. So this protection is coming from yourself, and you are going to decide how long your dharma or your higher education learning is going to be protected. The decision is totally in your hands. Another remedy for you would be to have plenty of water every day and try to work out as much as you can. Overall, I say it is a promising transit. In spite of Mars being a neutral planet for you, you should be looking forward to this transit. I wish you the very best. Let's now talk about Scorpio ascendants. For Scorpio ascendants, Mars is the ruler of the 1st house, which is the ascendant, the lord of self, your Lagna, and the ruler of 6th house. 6th house of daily efforts, routines, things that you do on a day-to-day basis. We see diseases from 6th house, we see health and well-being from 6th house. We also see 6 enemies of the mind or Shad Ripus from the 6th house. Mars is an important planet for you because it is your Lagna Lord, is the ruler of yourself, your overall body, vitality, your immunity, who you are, your personality that comes out in the open. So therefore, it plays a very important role for Scorpio ascendants. This Mars is making a transit in the 5th house in the sign of Pisces. Based on the transit itself, it is causing a yoga in transit. Most importantly, your 1st house lord, Lagna Lord, making a transit in the 5th house is a sign of progress, considering if your dasha, antardasha is supportive during this time. This kind of transit only happens in about an year and a half. It is an opportunity transit for you, whether it is about increasing your awareness, intelligence by learning something, or whether it is about getting into a successful position, whether it is about enhancing yourself to reach the seat of the king, which is an authoritative position. You are likely to command with authority during this time, but you must remember that with authority comes ego. So you have to keep your ego aside and practice humility. Make sure that you respect others, particularly your juniors at the workplace, and try to have good, credible, trustworthy relationship with juniors at your workplace. If you're looking forward to getting some recognition, increment, because this is also a Dhan Yoga in transit, so this could be a potentially favorable time over the next 45-50 days. You can see some of these things to progress really well for you. This is your 6th house lord, which also represents jobs, so any kind of progress as far as job related matters are concerned could be pretty much fruitful for you. What you need to work on is plan for your future. Sit down, spend time with your own self, and jot down your goals and things that you wish to achieve over the next few months. This is a good way to manifest some of your goals and come up with an action plan in order to achieve those goals or the things that you wish to have in the near future. Mars, by its 4th aspect, is going to be aspecting your 8th house. So your transformation needs protection, your change needs protection, and this is the focus of the hour. Be change ready, do not shy away from it. This change could be sudden, and this is what needs to be protected during this time. Mars is going to be aspecting your 11th house by its 7th aspect, which is mere a 50% aspect, but at the same time you need to focus on relationship with your friends and your wider network. And from a gains perspective, this looks like a favorable transit, so any rewards, recognition, incentive and increment is definitely on the cards. Mars is aspecting your 12th house by its 8th aspect. Your self-awareness and self-consciousness will help you achieve that kind of protection, which is supportive for your transformation. So from a spiritual point of view, it is an excellent transit. From a materialistic point of view, it is an excellent transit, but these two are quite conflicting in nature. So try to strike out a balance between the two, and this is something you could struggle as well, but as long as you're able to strike out a balance, this is a good transit for you and a transit of progress. I wish you the very best. Let's now talk about Sagittarius ascendants. For Sagittarius ascendants, Mars becomes the ruler of the 5th house and the ruler of the 12th house. 5th lord is the lord of mantra bhava. So this plays a very important role in mantras, and whether mantras will help us or not, this house is all about future. 5th lord plays a very important role. In my opinion, it is one of the most important planet for any ascendant. This house rules progress, success of all kinds. Since it's about future, it is also about children. We also see creative pursuits from the 5th house. In order to achieve progress, 5th lord needs to be supportive, and this is the kind of role Mars plays for you. Mars also rules the 12th house of losses, expenditure, your higher self-consciousness. In order to become a better person, in order to become a more aware person, Mars plays a very important role in your life. Now this Mars is making a transit in your 4th house in the sign of Pisces on 23rd of April for the next 45 to 50 days, and this Mars is in a comfortable position because Mars is also one of the significators of the 4th house. Mars signifies bhumi or land, and we also see land, real estate or similar fixed assets from the 4th house. So from a position perspective, it is one of the significator, but from a placement perspective, it is opposite to the 10th house. In 10th house, Mars gains directional strength. In the 4th house, Mars has 0 direction. So you need to consciously channelize this Mars in an appropriate way in order to gain the most of this transit. You will have to put some very conscious efforts in order to fix your routine, And one of the remedy that you should and must do during this time, put all your energy and enthusiasm at your home where you live. Try to clean it yourself. Try to keep things in an organized way. Try to declutter. This is an excellent time to declutter for Sagittarius ascendants in order to bring in more energy and enthusiasm in your life, which will help you make key decisions. Mars also demands you to focus a lot on your mental peace and your physical well-being during this time. Things that make you feel happy, that make you feel content. Put all your energy and enthusiasm in hobbies and those kind of pursuits which you wish to take in your life. Mars by its fourth aspect is going to be aspecting your seventh house. So the protection, what needs to be protected is those people who are opposite to you, your outer world. So this could be your relationship, this could be your marriage that needs protection, that needs focus. You need to have a sense of awareness and a sense of communication in your life with your partner or your spouse. Or if you have a business, that needs to be protected in terms of making some key decisions which could be related to your business. Mars will be aspecting your 10th house by its 7th aspect, which is a 50% aspect. However, being the 5th house lord, this could bring you new and bigger opportunities as far as your workplace related matters are concerned. In case you've been looking forward to a new job or change of job, this could be a potentially favorable time. Mars is going to be aspecting your 11th house by its 8th aspect. This protection of your relationship is coming from your friends. Make sure you listen to their advice, coming from your gains. So any form of workplace recognition, increment, rewards or incentive, this is a particularly favorable time in case your ongoing dasha, antardasha is supportive. This is something which you need to watch out for over the next few days. Overall, I say in spite of Mars losing direction, it is a positive transit for you, considering that you exercise, work out every day and you declutter things at your house. This is the ultimate remedy for you and I wish you the very best. Now let's talk about Capricorn ascendants. For Capricorn ascendants, Mars becomes the ruler of the 4th house and the ruler of the 11th house. 4th house is the comfort space where you feel most protected. This is the house where we see mother from, and the kind of relationship which we have with our mother, our homeland, and things that we do make us feel happy, that make us feel content, and how we like to keep ourselves protected. This is the Sukha Bhava. So we see inner peace and also the outer peace from the 4th house. Mars also rules the 11th house for Capricorn ascendant, so it plays a very important role in gains in your wider social network, in any form of incentives, rewards, or things that we possess that are all material in nature. We also see competition and bigger enemies from the 11th house. This Mars is making a transit in the 3rd house in the sign of Pisces. From a signification point of view, Mars is said to be the significator of the 3rd house. So therefore, it is a positive transit from a signification point of view, because Mars really holds those significations in a very strong manner. It is in a great dignity, it is in friendly sign, it is your 4th lord and the 11th lord. It is a neutral planet for Capricorn ascendants, but in order to ensure mental peace and also gains, this is an important transit for you. And the house that Mars is in, that represents efforts, younger siblings, communication, any kind of change, and how ready and receptive you are towards that change. This is what Mars represents. So it is an opportunity transit for Capricorn ascendants. This change could be promising. You need to put your 100% energy and enthusiasm in this change and in the way you communicate with others during this time. Mars by its 4th aspect is going to be aspecting your 6th house. What needs to be protected is your daily routines and things that you do on a day-to-day basis. This also includes your job, because we see job from the 6th house as well. So workplace matters are likely to get improved, and you're also likely to improve relationship with the people that you work with. As a remedy, what you can do is you try to declutter your workspace and try to increase your level of energies at the workplace. For that, you need to exercise, eat well and sleep right. Get a good night's 8 hours of sleep every day in order to ensure that you have a lot of energy through the day. Another remedy could be anything that you do with your hands or that involves your hand. Writing exercise, working in the kitchen, working out in the gym, gardening, anything that you do that involves your hand is going to be a potential remedy for you during this time. Mars by its 7th aspect is going to be aspecting your 9th house. So from a fortune perspective, it supports, but that's merely a 50% transit. Mars is going to be aspecting your 10th house by its 8th aspect. So this protection is coming from your work. So more dedicated and committed you would be towards your work and the change that is coming there, it will be beneficial for you. It will open up bigger doors for better opportunities in life. Overall, I say it is a positive transit and I wish you the very best. Let's now talk about Aquarius ascendants. For Aquarius ascendants, Mars becomes the ruler of the 3rd house and the ruler of the 10th house. Mars is more of a neutral planet for Aquarius ascendants. It rules change, communication, younger siblings, the house of efforts. We see growth from the 3rd house, therefore it plays an important role in our life. Mars also is the ruler of the 10th house of karma, your actions in the society, the kind of work that you do, the profession that you have, and what you do in order to sustain yourself in this world, for yourself and also for your family. This Mars is making a transit in your 2nd house of income, accumulated wealth, your family, those people who you would like to protect. This is the house of consumption. So from a natural perspective, your energy and enthusiasm should be in terms of your family, your income, wealth, and these kind of opportunities. As a remedy, you need to be extremely careful of what you eat and avoid any kind of dietary complications and take care of your gut during this time. So have a very balanced diet as far as your routine is concerned. Another thing that you have to consume is exercise and eat right. So exercise every day, that is the kind of consumption Mars desires during this time. It rules your karma bhava. Now from a perspective of yoga, it is causing a yoga which will help you gain some increment or incentive during this time. This could be a potentially favorable time for a secondary source of income which is associated to your work, or if you were looking forward to getting an increment or any kind of incentive over the next couple of months, this could be a favorable time for you considering your dasha antardasha is supportive. Something that you have to be very careful of during this time is watch what you say and watch what you speak. Avoid any kind of aggressiveness or fiery behavior in your speech. This is something which you have to be extremely careful of over the next 45 days. Take care of it and you will avoid any kind of complications as far as relationships are concerned in your life. Mars by its 4th aspect is going to be aspecting your 5th house. So what needs to be protected is your children, your relationship with the children, your future, that needs to be protected, and this will be done through your decision making capabilities and the kind of actions that you take over the next 40-45 days. Mars is aspecting your 8th house by its 7th aspect, which is a 50% aspect. So from a transformation perspective, change is coming, be change ready. Most importantly, Mars is aspecting your 9th house by its 8th aspect. Your father, any father figure, guru or a mentor will play a very important role in protecting your future. Your own higher education or learning is going to play a very important role in future protection. So today you need to learn, take up a course, enroll yourself in something that you wish to learn, which could be applied at your workplace, and over the next few months you will see success. You will be successful. You need to take care of your speech, you need to take care of what you eat, you need to exercise every day, and at the same time learn something new. That is a must have for the next 40-45 days for Aquarius ascendants to make the most of this transit. Overall, I say it is a mixed transit for you and I wish you the very best. Let's now talk about Pisces ascendants. For Pisces ascendants, Mars is an important planet, most importantly from a wealth point of view, because Mars rules your 2nd house and the 9th house. 2nd house of income, accumulated wealth, your family, the house of consumption, and those people who you would like to protect, and that includes your family. This is where protection comes from. This is also the house of speech. It is a Lakshmi Bhava, and Mars also rules your 9th house of Bhagya, fortune, long journeys, spirituality, your spiritual growth, guru, mentor or father figure, your lineage. This is the Bhagya Sthan, and Mars becomes your Bhagyesha. This Mars is making a transit in your ascendant itself, and it is forming a yoga in transit because it is your trinal house lord making a transit into the 1st house. It is a strong, powerful Dhan Yoga in transit because Mars is going to be sitting in your ascendant for about 45-50 days. This is an opportunity transit that only comes in about an year and a half. And if your Dasha, Antardasha is supportive, you can reap some good benefits of this transit. Now, one thing which is for sure is that the energy, enthusiasm and firepower is coming in your ascendant itself. And your Lagna Lord Jupiter is also going through a change in transit over the next few days. So this is a potentially favorable time in terms of making some key decisions in your life, and you need to put your energy and focus in terms of getting those decisions right, because your knowledge and intelligence is going to be put at test. So you need to leverage and channelize your Mars. As a remedy, what you need to do is you need to take care of your physical wellness and physical well-being. That needs to be a priority. Your personality would really come out in the open as there is a lot of firepower within yourself. In order to channelize these energies, make sure that you exercise, eat right, and you work out each and every day. You try to stay as active as you can through the day. In case you were looking forward to getting an increment or any wealth creating opportunities or any key decisions related to your investment, related to your savings, this could be a potentially favorable time to take those decisions or to make those investments and ventures accordingly. Your Bhagya is quite supportive during this time because your Bhagyesha is in Lagna. Any long journeys that you take, if it is related to work, if it is related to spiritual pursuits, visit pilgrimages, this could be an extremely favorable time to do that, and you could reap some good benefits out of it. Mars, by its fourth aspect, is going to be aspecting your fourth house during this time. So what needs to be protected? Your mother, homeland or relationship with your mother needs to be protected during this time. Those things that make you feel happy, that make you feel content, and your overall comfort space needs to be protected during this time. Mars is going to be aspecting your seventh house by its seventh aspect. There's a 50% aspect there, but there needs to be some agreement between you and your partner, some sort of conflict that has been going on, which you can finally resolve during this time. And by the eighth aspect, Mars is aspecting the eighth house. So your protection of your comfort space is coming from transformation. You need to transform, change yourself, and try to take things easy in order to stay or be in your comfort zone or those things which make you feel happy. It is quite a transformative transit. It is quite a progressive transit because when Bhagya is supportive, you can really take some key decisions considering your Dasha Antardasha is supportive during this time. And I wish you the very best. Now, this was about Mars's transit in the watery sign of Pisces, and I hope and wish this Mars's transit brings a sense of self-consciousness and higher level of awareness for our own self and helps all of us to uplift our spiritual quotient and also the ability to give and help others, those who are in need. Stay tuned for more videos on transit and other updates, and please share this video with your friends if you like it. Thank you very much, and God bless you all.